You ever meet someone who blames the government, their ex, Mercury retrograde, and the full moon for why their life's in shambles, but somehow forgets that they've been binge watching Netflix in the fetal position for 3 years and still can't spell resume? That's right. The truth no one wants to hear is this. Your life sucks because you suck at taking responsibility. Not because your dad didn't hug you enough. Not because capitalism is mean. Not because you're a Virgo and the stars hate you. You're broke, lost, and weak because you've chosen to be. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Nobody's coming to fix your life. Not your therapist, not your horoscope, and definitely not your Instagram quotes over pastel skies. The only way out is to grow the hell up. And luckily, there's a map for that. This is 12 Rules for Life, an antidote to chaos by Jordan B. Peterson. And yes, it's as heavy as it sounds. Dr. Jordan Peterson, former Harvard professor, clinical psychologist, enemy of ideological garbage, and accidental YouTube celebrity, didn't write this to make you feel better. He wrote it to slap you out of your fantasy coma. This book isn't just a list of self-help cliches with affirmations and yoga poses. It's a philosophical warhammer. It's psychological shock therapy. It's a challenge to everything you think you know about life, suffering, order, and meaning. Peterson's approach is equal parts biblical epic, clinical psychology, evolutionary biology, and shut up and clean your room, fatherly love. He's been demonized by the media, worshipped by followers, and misunderstood by almost everyone. But love him or hate him, this man has dared to ask, what if the real problem isn't the world, it's you? And before we go further, let's be clear. This video is a transformative summary under YouTube's Fair Use Act. It's for educational purposes only. So if you're Jordan or Penguin Random House, relax. We're not stealing, we're thinking. Now, 12 Rules for Life is exactly what it says on the cover, but underneath, it's so much more. These are principles that could restructure your soul if you have the guts to apply them. The book takes you deep into psychology, ancient myths, and hard-earned life lessons that have nothing to do with your comfort zone. Each rule isn't just advice, it's a demand. Because Peterson doesn't care if you feel seen, he cares if you grow up. And if that offends you, good, you might finally be listening. Welcome to Mindful Reads Hub. Let's get started. Stand tall, live right. So here's the scene. You're in the back of an Uber, silently judging the driver's playlist, wondering how you fell so far behind in life, and you tell yourself it's because your parents didn't support you, or maybe you just don't have time, maybe you're still healing. You scroll past people on Instagram living their best life with their perfect coffee, perfect gym selfie, perfect dog. Meanwhile, you're over here with crumbs on your chest and existential dread in your soul, trying to convince yourself that you're just taking a break. Peterson says, nope, you're not on a break, you're flinching, you're slouched, and worse, your body knows it, your brain knows it, and everyone around you smells it like blood in the water. You think confidence is some mystical trait you're born with? Wrong. It starts in your spine. You're not depressed because life's unfair. You're depressed because you carry yourself like a soggy bag of defeat. Lobsters figured this out 350 million years ago, no joke. Jordan Peterson's opening salvo hits you with this. Even lobsters have dominance hierarchies, and posture is the first step in winning one. You stand up straight, shoulders back, not because it makes you look cool, but because it tells your nervous system, we fight now. You're signaling to your serotonin supply chain that it's time to flood the system with belief. This isn't about faking confidence, it's about manufacturing it. Physiology before psychology. Movement before mindset. Now imagine this, you're not just a body, you're a spirit, something Peterson doesn't whisper to you like a new age yogi. He says it like a marine drill instructor, coaching angels for war. Standing up straight isn't just alignment, it's a metaphysical rebellion. You're telling life, yes, I see the chaos, the pain, the dragons, and I'm walking in anyway. You're aligning not just your spine, but your will with reality. And that changes everything. But here's the kicker, just as you start standing tall, owning your space, putting in effort, something sinister sneaks in. Self-sabotage disguised as self-care. Peterson doesn't just stop at telling you to posture up. He asks the nastiest question of all, Why do you take better care of your dog than you do yourself? You'll drag your mutt to the vet when it coughs. You'll pay $300 for dog food made of organic yak meat and Himalayan soul dust, but you won't eat a vegetable or take your damn antidepressants. You won't go to the doctor. You won't exercise. You won't get your finances straight. Why? Because deep down, you don't believe you're worth saving. And here's where the gloves come off. Peterson argues that we treat ourselves like garbage, not because we're lazy, but because we secretly think we deserve it. We're the judge, jury, and warden of our own psychological prison. You might believe you're too broken, too late, too lost, so you act like it. You don't clean your room because your life doesn't feel worth the effort. You eat trash because you see yourself as trash, but this is the lie that kills you slowly. And he calls you out. He says you have a moral obligation to take care of yourself. Not a suggestion, an obligation. Not because you're perfect, not because you're special, but because other people rely on you. Your contribution matters. Your potential has weight. You have a role to play in the unfolding drama of being itself. And if you fail to stand up, if you rot in your own nihilism, it's not just your life that collapses. It's everyone you could have helped, everyone you were supposed to lift, everything you were meant to build, burned at the altar of your self-loathing. So stop hiding behind the idea that treating yourself well is selfish. It's the opposite. Taking responsibility for your own life is the least selfish thing you can do. It's the foundation of everything noble, everything stable, everything heroic. And if that sounds dramatic, it is. But so is life. This isn't a rehearsal. You don't get another take. So what do? You start by standing the hell up. You raise your damn shoulders. You look yourself in the mirror and say, I'm gonna treat this person like someone who matters. Not because you feel like it, not because it's easy, but because it's right. Because no one else is gonna do it for you. Because the world gets worse every time you pretend you're not here for a reason. Start with your spine, then your mind, then your future. Because if a lobster can rise again after getting its ass kicked, so can you. Key takeaway. Taking responsibility for yourself is not self-indulgence. It's the first act of rebellion against a world that wants you small, silent, and broken. Confidence begins in your body and ends in your purpose. You don't get to matter by accident. You earn it. Favorite quote, to stand up straight with your shoulders back is to accept the terrible responsibility of life with eyes wide open. Choose allies wisely. Let's rip the bandage off. Your life is trash, not because people hurt you, not because you didn't get opportunities, and not because Jeff Bezos didn't pay you royalties on his $1 trillion smile. It's trash because of the dead weight you surround yourself with. You know exactly who I'm talking about. That friend you've known since high school who still lives in their mom's basement, whose biggest accomplishment in 5 years is finishing a season of Rick and Morty without spilling Monster on the rug. That sibling who only calls when they need bail money or backup on some drama-fueled vendetta against reality. That partner who smiles at your success until it threatens to eclipse their victim narrative. You've turned your life into a charity project for losers who wouldn't pull you out of quicksand if it meant missing a TikTok scroll. You're not noble, you're not selfless, you're a hostage, and you've been feeding your jailers. This is where Peterson takes the scalpel and slices into one of the most toxic lies of our generation. The belief that loyalty means proximity, that just because someone's been in your life for years, they somehow deserve to stay. As if time served in your personal circle earns them parole from accountability. It doesn't. In fact, Peterson tells you something your therapist won't. If someone's dragging you down, cut them off. Not because you're heartless, but because you're finally growing a backbone. See, good people, the kind who actually want the best for you, are rare. They challenge you. They make you feel uncomfortable in your excuses. They won't let you self-destruct just because you're tired or hormonal or still processing your inner child. They don't enable your mediocrity. They demand your potential. That's not cruelty, that's love. But most people you hang around, they're not challenging you. They're coddling your weakness because they don't want to be left behind when you get strong. They want you fat, sad, distracted, and emotionally available 24/7. They want the version of you that stays beneath them. because your growth casts a spotlight on their refusal to evolve. And don't think surrounding yourself with winners is easier. It's not. Standing next to someone who's crushing it while you're still fumbling life like a hot potato hurts. But that pain, that sting of inadequacy, that's your soul waking up. That's your inner warning system saying, hey, maybe we're supposed to do something more than scroll Reddit in sweatpants. Being near greatness forces you to confront your own laziness. It forces growth. It demands you evolve or exit. Peterson doesn't stop there. He drills into the epidemic of envy, this pathetic tendency we have to measure our worth by someone else's Instagram filter. And here's the brutal truth. No matter how much you achieve, there will always be someone younger, richer, hotter, more successful, and probably more tan. Your self-worth can't survive that kind of arms race. If you're constantly comparing yourself to others, your identity becomes a scoreboard you never control. And guess what? You'll lose. Every time. So what do you do instead? Peterson hands you a sledgehammer. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today. That's not feel-good motivational fluff. That's the only sustainable path to real improvement, because growth is personal, improvement is custom built, and progress doesn't show up in highlight reels. It shows up in the quiet, unsexy decisions nobody claps for. Waking up on time, choosing the gym over Netflix, not texting your toxic ex when loneliness hits like a freight train. You're not here to beat everyone else. You're here to beat the weak version of yourself you tolerated yesterday. But even that simple concept gets twisted. Why? Because it's hard. Because self-awareness feels like death when you've built your identity on avoidance. Peterson doesn't care. He gives you no room to hide. He knows that deep inside every self-sabotaging loser is someone who stopped believing they were worthy of friends who uplift or progress worth chasing. And until you start making those hard decisions, walking away from the energy leeches, deleting the comparison apps, and taking responsibility for your damn potential, you'll stay stuck in your sad little loop, miserable, jealous, and tragically average. You don't need more friends, you need better ones. You don't need more followers. You need to follow through, and you don't need to be the best. You need to be better, a little better, every day. That's how you outrun your past. That's how you build a future worth living. You've got a front row seat to your own resurrection, but only if you're willing to let the old you die. Key takeaway: stop being loyal to people who sabotage your growth, and stop measuring your value by someone else's scoreboard. Progress is personal, and greatness begins the second you care more about your trajectory than your applause. Favorite quote: compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today.